Thank Hashem that we're able to learn. First of all, learning we should have basic English immediately. Today we're going to start on Kuf Yud 110. Towards the bottom, Kuf Yud on my base, 110b. And it starts Ketana v'Chareshes. What is it? About 12 lines from the bottom. So the Mishnah said that if there was a person that had two wives, then he passed away, and the brother has to do Yibam. What happens if both of the wives are of equal status? They're both competent, then he would do Yibam on one of them, and that would exempt the other one. The problem in this case is that both of the wives were not on the same status. See, if they're both, even if they're both Ketana, both minors, that would also work. And if they're both chareshes, then that would also work. Problem is over here, one is a Ketana, one is a chareshes.
Mixed marriage.
It's a mixed marriage. So then the Yibam on one of them doesn't help the other one.
Okay.
So what's going to happen?
No.
So the Gemara says, Amar Rav Nachman, Ashkachte l'Rav Barava l'Rav Chana Chasne. Rav Nachman says that I found Rav Barava and Rav Chana, his son-in-law, the Yasvi v'kamekavu akvasa b'shuka de Pumbedisa v'amri, that they were sitting, and v'kamakvu akvasa either means they were gathering groups, or it means they were asking each other questions. B'shuka de Pumbedisa, Rashi gives two pshat in there. And in the marketplace of Pumbedisa, and this is what they said. And this is what we taught in the Mishnah. If one of the wives is a minor, and the other one is a deaf mute, so then the relations with one of them does not exempt the other one, because they're not of equal standing in the marriage. Hani mili, this is only the nafla meyachav pikeach. That's only if the original husband was fully competent, and then he has these two wives that are not, in different ways. The lo yadinan, because in this case we don't know, was he married more to the ketana? If he was really wanted to be married to the chareshes, to the deaf mute. Why would the marriage be stronger to the ketana? Well, the asila chaldea, because she's going to grow into it. When she grows up, she'll have das. She'll be a competent woman. Or maybe he really wanted the chareshes wife, the gedailahi, because she's already mature. Ubasbiyehi, and relations.
It's chereshes with it, Sarah.
Chereshes.
Yeah.
Chereshes.
Yeah.
Because a cheresh, it's
right.
just a female cheresh.
Right.
Chereshes. Okay. Yeah, but I'm saying it sounds like it's like earthenware, pottery. Okay. Ashkenazim. Okay. Okay. Or it's if maybe he wants the chereshes, and because she's already mature and she's basbia, she's relations with her is a normal relation. She's not a child, so maybe that's the real wife. Aval naflam yachav cheresh, but if the brother, in other words, the husband, the original husband that passed away, if he was a cheresh, then vade b'chereshes nichalei, the basbia he or basmini, then for sure that's his real wife, because she's mature enough, and she's also the same type. He gets along with her fine. And the ketana, she's not a basbia. She's not really eligible, fit to have relations with, and at this point, right, because she's young, and she's a different type. She's not a chereshes. Okay, so who said this? This is the statement of Rav Ada Barava and Rav Chana, his son-in-law. That's what they're discussing, saying that this Mishnah is only applicable when the husband was a pikeach. Va'amina lo ana. Rav Nachman says, and I told him that that's not the case. Afilu nafla me'echav me'achiv cheresh. Nami misafkala. You have the same issue if the brother is a cheresh, and not if the husband was a cheresh. Why? Okay, he's going to have a totally different approach to this. You see, the approach that who is it? Rav Ada Barava. Their approach is that the question is, which one did the husband really want to marry? And which one is his real wife? For some reason, we're thinking that it's not both of them. One of them is more married than the other one. Marriage should be like marriage is marriage. Like what's the, a little bit pregnant, right? Why are we saying this? This is how Rashi explained it on the Mishnah also. Okay. His approach, Rav Nachman's approach, is a different approach, which we're going to see. How is this resolved? It's really like a new piece, but it will explain Rav Nachman's approach. He says, Amar Rav Chizda, Amar Rav, Kainas Sachareshes, Umaitzia Beget, Uktana Tamtin Achetagdel V'Tachlit. So what are we going to do over here? What we're going to do is marry the Chareshes. Again, there's a brother that can do Yibam. The problem is that he can't do Yibam on one of them and absolve the other one, because the one that he did the Yibam on may not be the main wife, and the other one is the one that's really deserving the Yibam. So Yibam on one does not absolve the other one from the Yibam. So he can't do Chalitza on both of them, because the Chareshes is not a Bas Chalitza. She can't do Chalitza because she can't do the reciting of the verses that are required for Chalitza. So how are we going to get out of this? So he says the solution is to marry the Chareshes. Well, if you marry the Chareshes, then what's he going to do for the Ketana? You can't marry the Ketana, because that would be two houses. Well, that would be two houses, possibly. So you're going to have to do Chalitza on the Ketana. Problem is, you can't do Chalitza on the Ketana because she's too young, right? She needs to be, well, actually, that wasn't clear. He needs to be old enough. He needs to be old enough. So let's see. I think Lechatchila also she's supposed to be. It goes like this. Then he divorces her. Why does he have to divorce her? Why does they marry? Well, the problem is because the next thing is he waits for her to reach maturity, and then he does chalitza on her. It must be following the opinion that she needs to be of age as well. Now, what's going to happen is when he does chalitza on the ketana, he's not allowed to be married to the other wife. Achos, with these sisters, no, not because of achos chalitza. This is because you can't marry the tzara of the kivan shebana, kivan sheloibana shuvla yivna. Once he does chalitza, he can't be married to another wife. He can't then go back and marry one of the wives. So basically, the way to get the chereshes free was to marry her first, because chalitza you can't do on her. So you have to do the yibam on her. Then you divorce her, and then you do the chalitza on the ketana when she's of age. Amar Rav Chizda. Rav Chizda's comments on the statement of Rav, Shma mina kasavar Rav chareshes kanuya mishyaris ketana kanuya veina kanuya. There's two possible problems with these marriages. It's very lumdish Gemara here. It's not a full marriage, both of them. Cheireshes and a Ketana, it's not a full marriage. But there's two possible ways. One is it's not a full marriage because it's a doubt. And the doubt would mean it's either 100% married or it's 100% not married. It's a doubt. The other possibility is 50% married, 50% not married. Notice these marriages are not a full marriage. The question is it not full because it's either yes or no, or it's not full because it's only partial. So Rav Chizda says that from Rav it's clear that the cheireshes is the 50%. It's called knuya mishyeres. She's acquired, but there's part of her that's not acquired. Yeah,
So
half married.
If she becomes pregnant, she's 50% pregnant.
50% pregnant from
From
from a real
50%,
marriage, and 50% from out of marriage.
So what is the child?
It doesn't really matter halachically, what the child is the child. Okay. And Uktana is Knuya Vena Knuya. But the minor is acquired and possibly not acquired. It's 100% yes and 0. It's 100 to 0. It's the ratio is it's either 100 in or 100 out. It's not a 50-50. Okay. Why do you have to say this? Maybe it's the opposite. How do you know which one is which? I get that they each have problems. There's each not a fully, but okay. If we would say that the chireshes is possibly married, possibly not the partially, but possibly, then and the Ketana is Knei Mishyeres, and the minor is partially married. So then the question would be, Chireshes am I kind of samitzia beget? Why does the Chireshes? Why does he marry her and then divorce her? Tesav gabe mimanavshach. Let her stay married. Mimanavshach. Why? Very simple svara. Iknuyahi. If her marriage is a good marriage, let's say the Chireshes was the doubt, and it's either 100% married, 100% not. Iknuyahi. Aknuyahi. So she's the wife. And that yibam, if it's the 100% kosher marriage, 100% yes, so then that's a perfect yibam, and then it takes care of everyone else. And if she's 100% not married, then she's not even related to this whole problem. And she can marry the brother because it's 100% yes or no. If you'll say, Ketana, according to this logic, the child, I might tamtin ad shetag bil v'tachleit taste of gabe iknuyahi haknuyahi ilav knuyahi nuchsa ba'amo. So say the same thing the other way. What did you do with the child, with the minor? We said that we're going to do chalitza. So why do you have to do chalitza? If she's the wife, 100%, so then yibam will work. And if she's not the wife, then she's just a stranger. If that's how we're going to view this, that whoever is the knuya vena knuya means 100% in or 100% out, then automatically it's going to work because she's just a stranger. And then the co-wife's marriage doesn't affect her in any way because she's a stranger. So we say, if you'll ask that question, so why didn't we say that by the Ketana? Imkein chireshes b'matepak. How will we get the chireshes out? You see, if we would allow the the Ketana to get married first, and then we say that this is automatically she can stay together with the husband, with the Yavam. What would that mean? That it's either a perfect Yibam or it's a brand new marriage. If it's a perfect Yibam, then the Chereshes is free. Because one of the wives in a perfect marriage, the stronger wife did Yibam, and now the other wives go free. But if it's not a perfect marriage, which means it's a zero marriage, it's a brand new marriage. There's no Yibam here. It's not a perfect Yibam because she was never married to the first husband because it was 100%. So then, how does the Chereshes go free? Well, you'd have to do Yibam on it. But I know, but that doesn't free her up. She still wouldn't require a chalitza.
She can't have because she's a cheresh.
In other words, the Yibam of the Ketana. Yeah, so 1 second. Married to who? No, he's allowed to have as many wives as he wants. Even if he's married, he has a mitzvah of Yibam. He's going to take in another wife.
So we're saying so that the minor wasn't really the sister, wasn't really Sarah.
So yeah, so
she may have never had a legitimate marriage.
it could be that marriage isn't a real marriage. But if it's a perfect marriage, that marriage, then the Chereshes is absolved. Good to go. If it's not, then the Chereshes either needs Yibam or Chalitza. Now Yibam she can't do because if the Ketana did Yibam, she can't do Yibam. Right? Can't do Yibam twice. So, well, maybe the Ketana's Yibam wasn't a good Yibam, but that doesn't help me because maybe it was. So what am I left with? I can only do Chalitza on the Chereshes. She can't do Chalitza because she can't recite it. It means acquired, like Kenyan. Yeah.
So the problem with the cheresh is that she doesn't have the das.
Right.
It's deep that she doesn't have the das to acquire or be acquired.
Right.
So does it explain things if we say she was normal, she was competent, she got married, and she developed this condition afterwards. Now her husband dies. And she's not capable of
Receiving the get? No, that makes things worse because then he can't divorce her. And the solution that Rav is giving to us is that she's able to receive a get.
We didn't say she has no das. We just said that she can't fulfill the requirements because we don't know if she really.
Right. Right. Now he's asking that if she would have. Oh no, she would always be able to receive a get because you can divorce her balkarcha. It's him that had the problem of giving the get. If he started off as a pikeah.
I'm just trying to figure out how we ended up in this situation.
He has two wives.
Huh?
He has two wives.
Yeah, I understand. He has two wives and each have an issue.
Right.
And he's a nice guy. Of course, there's a brother. He's a nice guy. What the right thing is
Right.
for both of them.
So Rav said what the right thing is to marry the Chereshes first and then divorce her and then do Chalitza on the Ketana. Rav Chizda says this proves that Rav holds that the Ketana had an issue of a suffix and the Chereshes had an issue of partially married.
But one of the things we're learning here is that all the learning that we did about how the multiple wives stand or fall as a group
Is only when it's full wives.
only when it's competent wives.
Yeah, well, it's all of equal. It's not only when it of equal status.
So this is an exception
Right.
to the general rule.
Right.
They're unequal status.
Because they're on equal status. It was the same thing as if they're all not competent. It would be the same rule. When we say that the katana is kanuya or not kanuya, it's not because each katana is a suffix. It's just the whole concept of katana is a suffix. They're all the same suffix. And when we say that chereshes is a partially, they're all the same partially. If they were all chereshes, it would work.
Wasn't this Katana her marriage only by rabbinic because
Yeah.
she was the Yassim?
Yeah, her father died. She was married by her brother.
It's a different kind of Katana.
Right. Okay. But do you follow what Rav Chisda is saying? He's proving that you have to say it this way, because if you would say it the opposite way, where the katana is the one that is the partially married, and the chireshes is the one that's either yes or no, then the chireshes would not need to get divorced. Why? Because either that's a perfect Yivam or it's not a perfect Yivam. And then the katana you do chalitza. But if you would do it the other way, that says that the chireshes is the partial marriage and the katana is the doubt, so then the chireshes needs to get divorced. Because even if you do the katana first, you can't get rid of the chireshes without chalitza. And chireshes cannot do chalitza. So the only way is to marry the chireshes first. And if marrying the chireshes first, then that would mean that she's the partial marriage.
Precious.
And the katana is maybe yes or no. Because if it would be, let's do it the other way. Let's say that she's marrying the chireshes first, and the katana and the chireshes is the partial marriage, is the doubt. It's either a perfect Yibam or it's not a perfect Yibam. If it's not a perfect Yibam, then he's allowed to stay married. That was his point. Then why does he have to get divorced? That was Rav Chisda's point. Why does he have to divorce her? The fact that he has to divorce her mean that it's not a kanuya and it's not the suffer. Okay. You get what's going on? You follow? There's two ways of viewing the doubt. It's either because it's partial or it's because it's a doubt. It's 100% yes or 100% no. Amar Rav Sheshas. It sounds like the chakira that they have about partners, the partnership. There's a big discussion. The partners own everything, or do the partners only own half? Like how do you split this?
That's in the English term, joint partners in the entirety. So, like if a husband and wife each own a home in that term, then no one can sue one for the home because the other says, it's really my home.
Oh.
And that's what that term is.
That's so interesting because it's
Joint
machlekes.
partners
It's
in
machlekes for
entirety.
Meir and the Chachamim. I think if that how partners were.
I'm sorry, my counselor's not here, but I believe that's good.
Amar Rav Sheshas. Rav Sheshas says Hachinam mistabra. It's also logical. The commentaries of Chisda Ali b'de Rav. The way Rav Chisda translates according to Rav. The Tanya because it was taught in a brisa. That's the Aleph of the Bach. It takes out Yesaimus. Okay. We have a case. Shtei achin nesuyin, shtei achayas. Married to two sisters. Two brothers married to two sisters. Well, one of them is a katana, and the other one is v'chareshes. Meis baila shel katana. The husband of the katana passed away. Now, you follow what's going on? Of Nasan, the husband of the chireshes is still alive. He now has to marry his wife's sister, which is his brother's wife. The problem is you're not allowed to marry the wife's sister. He's only allowed to marry the brother's wife. Well, is he really married to his wife because she's a chireshes? Well, chireshes is partially married. There's no doubt about that. She's partially married. So it works like this. Chireshes Yaitze Beget. He's going to have to divorce his own wife. Ktana Tamtin Ad Shetagdol V'Tachlitz. Then he does Chalitza on the Ktana. Now, why does he have to divorce his wife? Well, at this point, she may be, his wife may be there's part of her that's not married. And she may be the sister of the Zakuka, of the one that he's supposed to marry.
It's like he married a Siamese twin. It's his wife from the other part of the.
And there's, right. The issue is the part of him that's not, the part of her that's not married makes. Good morning. Makes is now forbidden to the husband because she's the sister of the woman that he's 100% supposed to marry. If it's 100%, if the Ketana is 100%, right? The Ketana is either all or nothing. Okay, Meis Baila Shel Chareshes. Let's say the other husband passed away, and that leaves the husband of the Ketana still alive. That has to do Yibum on the Chareshes and their sisters. Well, in this case, it may be that he's not married to his wife at all. He's not. It may be that the original husband wasn't married at all because this is an all or nothing. So the rule is that Ketana Yaitze Beget. Gives her a get. He wasn't married to her. The husband died. Oh no, the opposite. I'm sorry. The husband of the Chireshes died. That's what's going on here. So the husband of the Ketana is still alive. So he has to divorce his wife, the Ketana, and the Chireshes is Sur La'ilam. But there's no solution for the Chireshes. Why? Why is there no solution? She could be the sister, because she could be his wife's sister. Possibly she's his wife's sister. And at the death, she was exempt from Yibum. So the mitzvah of marrying the brother's wife is not going to apply because there's a chance that, and she also can't get chalitza. That was the big deal. She can't get chalitza, so there's no hope.
But she can marry somebody else.
No, because she can't get chalitza. So she can't get married. She's stuck. Asura La'ilam. Yeah, La'ilam over here means forever and to everyone. To the island. Okay. Now, what happens? The rabbis wouldn't tell him this, but v'im ba ala chareshes. But if he does have relations with the chareshes, with the deaf mute, in sin, right? It's a prohibition. But if he does, then license like get v'hutra, then she would be she could get a get. Yeah.
So is that how to get out? That someone whispers, "Oh, but if you happen to do this sin, then you can get out of it."
Yeah, they don't say this.
Don't say it.
The only necessary somebody can accomplish good purpose by not doing the right thing.
Uh-huh.
For example, if someone has is it yichud with somebody who he's obligated to, normally yichud is not a good thing. But what's the worst that could happen? The worst that can happen
Is
he has
Yibum.
relations with her,
Right.
perform the mitzvah of evil.
Uh-huh.
There's no issue about yichud, or if there is,
Uh-huh.
it's not
Uh-huh.
taken seriously.
So is yichud with the Yevama mutter?
Well, no, but
if, like I said, the worst thing that happens is he performs a mitzvah,
Uh-huh.
and now they're married.
Uh-huh. Interesting.
It's the same kind of thing.
It sounds like yichud with the Yevamos should be mutter.
That reason. But I'm saying nobody.
Right.
Or
So
he doesn't come out and then say, oh.
I did
we just said
chalitza.
chalitza. Yeah,
They know you beina. We did a chalitza. You need witnesses. You need witnesses by the chalitza. So Iyamrit Bishleima, this is Rav Sheshes talking. Remember, Rav Sheshes was the one that was trying to defend Rav when Rav would say something that wasn't accurate. He would say Rav must have been asleep. That was the defense. So now he's explaining that we have a Mishnah that also supports Rav Chizda's explanation of Rav. Iyamrit Bishleima Chireshes Kanuya Mashieres and Katana Ina Kanuya Veina Kanuya Misham Hachi. If we would say the way Rav Chizda explained it, that the Katana is a doubt and the Chireshes is a partial. The Chiba al Chireshes Naisan Laget Vahutra the Amrit Mimanavsha. In this last case, if he lives with the Chireshes, then he gives her a get and she becomes permissible. So we can explain this as follows, because there's a Mimanavsha. Iktana Knuyahi. It has to be that he lived with the Katana as well. He lives with the Katana. And then he lives with the Chireshes. Okay? So he has relations with both of the wives. That's what we're talking about. The sin over here would be that he marries the Katana. What was the rule over here? No, he is married. Meis Baila Shel Chireshes. So Katana Yetzer Beget. So he's alive. The Katana. If the Katana is the wife, he's not doing Yibam on the Katana. Katana is his wife. But there's a question over here if it's 100% or 0. So if the Katana is his wife, then Hanafka Mishamacha Isisha, then there's no reason to do Yibam. She's good to go. Ilav Kanuya, if the Katana is not his wife, then Shaper Miyabim, then the Yibam was good. Because there's no problem. He was allowed to do, the Katana is either an all or nothing. So Yibam on the Chireshes is either nothing because the Katana was fully married and what happened was nothing, or it's a regular Yibam if the Katana's marriage was nothing. But if you're going to say it the opposite, that the Katana is a partial marriage, and the Chireshes is the suffix Katana Knuya Mashieres. The Katana is the partial marriage. Kibal Chireshes. If he lives with the Chireshes, then Amai Naisen get Vahutra. How does she become permissible? Havale Bia Psula Ubia Psula Laipatra. It's really going back on the Katana. What we're saying is it's a chais isha b'miktsas. We're saying that his marriage to the Katana is a partial marriage. And that partial marriage does not exempt the Chireshes from Yibam. It's only partially his wife's sister. It's not an all or nothing. So what we're saying is, if we say that the Katana is a partial marriage, then the Chireshes would not have a real Yibam. And she's not fully exempt either. So you would require chalitza, and the chereshes doesn't get chalitza, so it wouldn't work. So it must be that it's the way Rav Chisda said, that the ketana is an all or nothing, and the chereshes is a 50-50. And that's why, it's because the ketana is the all or nothing, then the chereshes goes free no matter what. The Gemara says, your proof is not a good proof, because there is a view that holds that a bia psula does exempt her. So who holds that? Hamani Rab Nechemye, Damar bia psula peteres mechalitza. Which means that a partial marriage to the ketana, the sister, would exempt the chereshes. The Gemara says, Rab Nechemya Maseifa. If it's Rab Nechemya, then we have to look further. We're going to have a problem. If you read further in this Mishnah, there's going to be a proof that it's not Rab Nechemya. And so therefore you can't answer that. It says, Misha Yanasi Shtei Yisayma, someone's married to two orphan girls, Katana v'Chireshes, Umes. Over here, they're not sisters. All right, they're not sisters. The first case they were sisters. Now they're not. Ba Yavam ala Katana v'Chazer Balach ala Chireshes. The Yavam lives with the Katana. All right, the Yibam. What happens now if he lives with the Katana? He either did a full Yibam or he didn't do a full Yibam. It was all or nothing, right? At least that's the way we would like to view it. And then he lives with the Chireshes. Or the brother of the Yavam, which is another Yavam, lives with the Chireshes. So it says Nesu Shteyam Alav. Both of them are forbidden to him. Why are they forbidden to him? Because maybe what he did with the Katana worked. Bia with the Katana worked. He's married to her, then he can't marry the sister. No, it's not a sister. Can't marry the other wife. Can't marry the other wife because he can't. By he can't marry two wives from the widow, from the deceased. Right? Maybe it didn't work. If it didn't work, then the Chireshes worked. If the Chireshes work, then can't marry the Katana. So there's a possibility that they both work. Okay. Ketzat Takanasan, so what should he do? So Chireshes Yetze beget. Now, who did he marry first? Looks like he married the Katana first. He gives her a get. How does he give her a get? He gives her a get because if the Katana was nothing, now he's fully married to the Chireshes, so he can divorce her with a get. If the Katana was something, then it was everything, and what he did with the Chireshes was nothing, so she doesn't even need a get. So the Katana tamtenat shetagla v'tachlitz, and then the minor you can always get rid of. You can always get out of her resolve her issue with chalitza. The Chireshes you couldn't. Now, if we say that the Chireshes is a partial marriage, Katana is Kanuya Veina Kanuya, and the child is a either 100% or not. V'Rabbanan he. I will say it's the opinion of the Rabbanan. Mishum hachi tamtenat shetagla v'tachlitz. That's why we're going to require that she has chalitza. Why? There's going to be a gzeira here. See, really, he could stay married to her, because, like we said before, either she is a real Yevama, and he just did Yibam on her, or she's nothing, not related, and then he can be married to her. She was never married. It's an all or nothing. So why did we say that you have to do chalitza? because the Dilma Kadim Ubal Chereshes, maybe he's going to live with the Chereshes first. Vahavale Bia the Ktana Bia Psula, and it would be in the Chereshes. Does it be a Ktana that be the Psula? The Chereshes would have been the Bia Psula, which would mean that the Ktana is not exempt. But if we say that it is Reb Nechemia, Hamar Bia Psula Patra, so then the Ktana would be exempt. So why don't we let the Ktana stay married? Because we're following the Rabbanan's view that hold that a Bia Psula doesn't exempt her. And in case we're gonna do it in the opposite order, that he marries the Chereshes first, she's not going to be exempt. So therefore we have them get divorced with the Ktana. Because of the possibility of the opposite order, where the Bia Psula came first, the Bia of the Chereshes came first. But if it would be the opinion of Reb Nechemia holds that a Bia Psula exempts anyway, so then what's our whole issue? The Ktana could stay married. It must be the Rabbanan Hishmamina. So we are seeing that because from the end case of this, it can't be Reb Nechemia. So that means that the first case wasn't Reb Nechemia either. And therefore we have a proof from Rav Shesh's proof is correct that Rav Chisda was right in the way that he divided up the difference between the Ktana and the Chereshes. Amar Rav Ashi, Marisha Namish Mamina de Rabbanani. We can also see from the Reisha that it's the Rabbanan, not Reb Nechemia. The Ktani, because we taught in Bala Cheresh is nice and leget v'hutra, but like Ktani in Bala Ktana nice and leget v'hutra. If you take a look at that the Mishnah that we quoted, we said if the husband of the Chereshes passed away, who's alive? The husband of the Ktana. So the rule over there was that he had to divorce his wife, the Ktana, and he has no solution for the Chereshes. But if he lived with the Chereshes, then he can give her a get and she's exempt. Why doesn't it say if he lives with his wife, the Ktana, in the opposite case, if mace by mace baila shel Ktana, in the first case, if the husband of the Ktana passed away. So we said that the Chereshes, he divorces his wife, the Chereshes, and then he waits for her to come of age, and then he does chalitza on her. But we don't give the option of if he lives with her. Why don't we give that option of if he lives with her? Must be because even if he lives with her, not necessarily will he be able to get out of that with just a get. He's going to require chalitza as well, because living with her because there was a bia psula before, because the marriage to the chereshes is only a partial marriage, so that's not going to help the how would this work?
The legitimacy of his having relations with her sister.
Yeah, it won't help. It won't help. It won't help. She's only partially the his wife's sister. It's only partially the wife's sister. So therefore, it's going to require chalitza as well. If you say that a bia psula doesn't pater. So the reason why we didn't give in that case a possibility of marrying of living with the ktana and just giving the get, like we did by the chereshes, was because it has to be that we're following the Rabbanan, that a Bia Psula doesn't pater. Because if it would have been Reb Nechemia, then the Bia Psula would pater, then all you would need to do is live with the Ketana, and then it would only require a get, no chalitza. We didn't say that. Gemara says, that's not a good raya, because Chireshes, the Leslie Takanta de Tera, Ketani Takanta de Isura. By the Chireshes, where we said Asura La'olam, so the only option that we had was to give the solution that was forbidden if he lives with her when he's not allowed to. But Ketana Dislei Takanta de Tera, but by the Ketana, where he can do chalitza, we don't have to say that there's a solution, but you're not allowed to do it. So that's why we didn't say it. Because our proof was, why didn't you say the solution, but you're not allowed to do it? Why didn't you say that case? It must be because we're not following Reb Nechemia. That's why we didn't say it, because according to Reb Nechemia, that solution would have worked. Why didn't we say it? Because we're following the Rabbanan. So the Gemara says the Laitani Takanta de Isura, but we don't want to give a solution that's forbidden. Okay.
You don't want to give a solution through the
Try to do the Mishnah. Misha Yanasi L'Shtei Yisemis Ketanas. A mace. Someone that's married to two Yisemis, underage, and then he passed away. So, Yavam al Rishayna v'Chazar Bal Hashniya. You haven't lived with both of them. That's a problem.
Ooh.
He's only supposed to marry one. Well, they're either nothing or they're everything, right? Remember we said a Ketana as or the one Yavam lived with one and the other Yavam lived with the other one. So Lei Pasal Eser Rishayna. The first marriage is a good marriage. The second marriage was nothing. Or if the first marriage is a good marriage, then the second marriage is nothing. And if the first marriage wasn't a good marriage, then he's fine to stay married to her now. Either way, the first marriage is perfect and the second marriage has a shaila. Right? The first yibam is perfect and the second one has a shaila in it. V'chein beis charashes. Cherashis. It does the nikud. Does the nikud on the resh switch when it becomes plural? It probably becomes a shva.
It's chershis.
Chershis. It switches. It's not a cheresh. It's a chershis. Two chershis. Two.
Benny Friedman says it's charashos.
Yeah, in Russian. Okay. Or the same halach would apply. Okay.
And in ancient Hebrew, it's charoisos.
Ketana v'chereshes. Let's say the case was, like we mentioned before, the problematic case when one of the wives was a ketana, the other one was a chereshes. Over here, it's a problem. Pasal es a ketana. Because the ketana was an all or nothing, and the chereshes is partial. So on the tzad that it's a nothing, the original marriage was on the tzad that it's an everything. Then he's already married partially to the. No, if he married who did he marry first of him? Yeah. Even though he married the Ketana first, but there's a Gzeira because he may marry the Chereshes first. If he marries the Chereshes first and then he lives with the Ketana, the Chereshes becomes Pasal. Okay. Pikachas v'Chereshes, then what would be the din? So Pikachas v'Chereshes, then that sounds like a perfect Yibam. Because the Yibam was perfect. He did Yibam with the real wife. B'chazer ba'al apikachas, ishbacha apikachas, that's a problem. Pasal es achireshes. Then it becomes a problem with the marriage, with the yibam that was done to the chireshes, that was done first, which was not a real yibam. Gedailu ktana. Let's say one of the wives was older, one was younger. Because the yibam that was done was already a full yibam. He married the gedaila, that's the real yibam. If he did it in the opposite order, where he does the wrong yibam first, that's going to now have a bad effect on the quasi yibam that was done. Rabbi Lazar Malam the Meskatana Shetimain by Rabbi Lazar or Rabbi Eliezer. We said before that he says that the katana should be taught to get out of this marriage by doing miyan and annul the marriage originally. Okay, Shikaya. We'll learn at 7:20. Yeah.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Have a good day.
Where do we end on?